Dr. Sarah Chen stood at her laboratory window in the Global Space Research Institute, watching the crystalline ships shimmer against the dawn sky. Their arrival 3 days ago had changed everything. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization had brought the world to a standstill, but now the real work would begin. She turned back to her holographic display, studying the energy readings from the Zarkax vessels. Something about their signature bothered her, a pattern that seemed too perfect, too ordered. In her experience, natural systems always contained small irregularities. Dr. Chen, her assistant, called from the doorway. "They're requesting your presence at the diplomatic reception. The Zarkax representatives specifically asked for you." Sarah nodded, gathering her tablet and straightening her formal jacket. As Earth's leading quantum physicist, she had been chosen to head the Scientific Exchange Committee. The aliens had shown particular interest in her work on quantum field harmonics. The reception hall buzzed with excitement. World leaders, scientists, and military officials mingled beneath the elaborate crystal chandeliers. The Zarkax themselves stood out starkly, tall, elegant beings with iridescent skin that seemed to catch and reflect light like their ships. Their ambassador, who called himself First Resonance, approached Sarah with fluid grace. "Dr. Chen." The translator device rendered his crystalline tones into smooth English. "Your work on quantum harmonics shows remarkable insight for a developing civilization. We look forward to sharing our advanced understanding of these principles." Sarah smiled diplomatically, but her scientific instincts were screaming. The energy readings from their ships, their crystalline technology, their obsession with harmonics. Pieces of a puzzle she couldn't quite solve. "Ambassador, I've been analyzing the quantum signature of your vessels," she began carefully. The resonance patterns seemed to follow a very specific. A high-pitched tone cut through the air, making everyone wince. The Zarkax delegates stood perfectly still, their skin suddenly gleaming with an intense inner light. "Your analysis ends here, Dr. Chen." First Resonance's voice had lost all warmth. "Humanity's response to our arrival has provided sufficient data. You are indeed intelligent enough to be a threat, but far too primitive to deserve survival." The chandeliers exploded overhead as energy weapons activated throughout the hall. Sarah dove behind a marble column as chaos erupted. Through the windows, she watched in horror as massive energy beams lanced down from the ships above, targeting major cities across the globe. In those first terrible moments, Sarah's mind was already racing. The Zarkax moved with mechanical precision, their attacks following perfect geometric patterns. No wasted motion, no deviation. Even their energy weapons pulsed at exact intervals, the same intervals she detected in their ship's quantum signatures. She ran for the laboratory wing, dodging falling debris. If she could reach her quantum harmonics equipment, save her research data. A ceiling beam crashed down behind her as she sprinted through the metal doors of her lab. Sarah frantically initiated the emergency data transfer to the facility's underground backup servers, adding her hastily recorded observations about the attack patterns. As the building shook around her, she grabbed her tablet and emergency pack, heading for the subbasement access. The institute had been built atop an old military bunker complex, something the Zarkax's perfect scans might have missed precisely because of its architectural irregularity. The last thing Sarah saw through the reinforced windows was the crystalline ships moving in flawless formation across the burning sky. Their perfect patterns would be their weakness, she realized. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt, to embrace chaos and uncertainty. As she descended into the darkness of the bunker complex, Dr. Sarah Chen began planning humanity's response. The Zarkax had revealed their true nature. Now it was time to show them that humanity's apparent imperfections were actually its greatest assets. 3 months into the occupation, the old military complex beneath the Rocky Mountains hummed with desperate activity. Dr. Sarah Chen hunched over her makeshift laboratory bench, examining a twisted piece of crystalline debris under a jury-rigged microscope. The fragment had come from a downed Zarkak scout ship, claimed by a resistance team at great cost. "Tell me you found something useful," Commander James Rodriguez said, entering the lab. His uniform was dusty from another reconnaissance mission through the tunnel network. Dark circles under his eyes spoke of sleepless nights coordinating survivor movements. Sarah adjusted the microscope's calibration. Their technology isn't just crystalline in appearance. It's a quantum crystalline matrix. Every piece resonates at exactly the same frequency, down to the subatomic level. It's beautiful, but what? Rodriguez leaned closer. But it's too perfect. She pulled up a holographic model using their precious remaining power. Natural crystals have imperfections, variations. These don't. It's like they've removed everything random, everything chaotic, and that makes them vulnerable. A commotion outside interrupted them. A resistance team had returned from another supply run, bringing more survivors. Among them was Dr. Maya Patel, a quantum computing specialist Sarah had worked with before the invasion. Despite her haggard appearance, Maya's eyes lit up at the sight of the laboratory. "Dr. Chen, I've been trying to reach this facility for weeks." Maya quickly set up her own salvaged equipment. "The Zarkak ships, I've been tracking their movement patterns. They're following mathematical sequences I've never seen before, but they never deviate, never adapt." Sarah felt her pulse quicken. "Show me." Maya projected a series of complex equations. The patterns of Zarkak ship movements, patrol routes, and attack formations all followed precise mathematical rules. Even their responses to human resistance efforts were perfectly predictable. Overwhelming force applied in geometric patterns. Commander Rodriguez studied the projections with military precision. "These patterns, they're why we've had success with hit-and-run tactics. They can't process random human behavior fast enough." "Exactly." Sarah pointed to the crystalline debris. "Their entire civilization is built on perfect resonance, perfect harmony. Their quantum crystalline technology requires it. But that harmony can be shattered." Maya finished, understanding dawning in her eyes. Like an opera singer breaking a glass with the right note. The lights flickered as another Zarkak's patrol passed overhead. Everyone froze, but the complex's irregular construction and electromagnetic shielding kept them hidden. The alien sensors, calibrated for perfection, often missed the chaotic signatures of human bunkers. Working through the night, Sarah and Maya began developing a prototype quantum frequency modulator. If they could generate the right discordant frequencies, they might be able to disrupt the aliens' crystalline systems. Rodriguez provided tactical data from resistance cells worldwide, transmitted through the old mining tunnels and subway systems that had become humanity's secret network. "We'll need to test it," Sarah said, examining their cobbled-together device. "But a failed test could give away our position." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "I know a place. 3 kilometers east, there's an abandoned satellite station. The Zarkaks ignore it because it's too damaged to be tactical. We can use it as a testing ground." As they prepared for the first field test, Sarah studied the equations one more time. The Zarkaks had achieved technological perfection, but in doing so, they'd lost something essential: the ability to adapt, to embrace chaos and change. Humanity's greatest weakness in their eyes had become its greatest hope for survival. "Commander," she called as Rodriguez headed out, "tell your teams to keep being unpredictable. The more chaotic our resistance, the more it disrupts their perfect patterns." In the dim light of the underground lab, humanity's counterattack was taking shape, not with overwhelming force or superior technology, but with the power of imperfection, adaptation, and the unpredictable nature of human ingenuity. The abandoned satellite station stood silent against the night sky as Sarah Chen and Maya Patel calibrated their quantum frequency modulator. Commander Rodriguez's team had secured the perimeter, using the facility's broken equipment as cover. Above them, a Zarkak's patrol ship traced its perfect, predictable path through the stars. "Power level stable," Maya whispered, her fingers dancing across the improvised control panel. The crystalline sample is responding exactly as theorized. Each pulse creates a cascading resonance effect. Sarah watched the fallen piece of alien technology vibrate on their testing platform. Even this small fragment maintained its connection to the larger Zarkax network, a weakness they could exploit. Ready for full power test. Commander. Rodriguez signaled from his position. 2 minutes until the next patrol. Make it count. They activated the device. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then the crystalline shard began to emit a high-pitched tone, its perfect structure developing microscopic fractures. Above them, the patrol ship suddenly wavered in its course. Look, Maya pointed to her sensor display. Their shield harmonics are fluctuating. The disruption is spreading through their quantum network. The patrol ship's perfect trajectory became erratic. Its crystalline surface flickered with discordant energy patterns. For a moment, it seemed about to crash. Then its secondary systems engaged, and it retreated rapidly toward the horizon. They're adapting, Sarah noted, recording every detail. But slowly, imperfectly. Their backup protocols aren't designed for quantum discord. Rodriguez was already organizing the withdrawal. Pack it up. They'll send investigation teams soon, but they'll follow standard search patterns. We'll be long gone. Back in the underground lab, the team analyzed their data. The test had proved more successful than they dared hope, but it revealed new complexities in the Zarkax technology. Look at these resonance patterns. Maya highlighted a series of frequencies. Their quantum network isn't just for communication. It's how they think, how they process reality. We didn't just disrupt their shields. We disrupted their cognitive harmony. Sarah expanded the analysis. Their entire civilization is built on perfect quantum resonance. They experience reality as one unified consciousness, each individual a perfect note in their crystalline symphony. She paused, a new understanding dawning. That's why they can't handle chaos. They have no concept of individual adaptation. And that's why they hate us, Rodriguez added, studying the patrol routes. Our unpredictability, our individual thinking. It's anathema to their unified perfection. Maya's hands trembled with excitement as she pulled up new simulations. But there's more. These patterns, they're familiar. They remind me of human brainwave patterns, but inverted. Where we have chaos, they have order. Where we have individual variation, they have perfect unity. Could we use that? Rodriguez asked. Turn our natural brain patterns into a weapon. Sarah was already reconfiguring their equipment. Not a weapon, a key. If we can broadcast human neural patterns through the quantum frequency modulator, we could shatter their unified consciousness, Maya finished. Force them to experience individuality. The implications were staggering. The Zarkax weren't just vulnerable to physical disruption. Their entire worldview could be challenged by human cognitive patterns. Their perfect unity was both their greatest strength and their critical weakness. Rodriguez received reports from other resistance cells. The Zarkax were increasing patrols, but their search patterns remained predictable. They couldn't conceive of humans using their own perfection against them. How long to modify the modulator? He asked. Sarah and Maya exchanged looks. A week, maybe less. We'll need volunteers to provide brainwave patterns. Different types of human cognition might have different effects. You'll have them, Rodriguez assured them. Every survivor down here knows we need something more than conventional weapons to win this war. As they worked, Sarah reflected on the irony. The Zarkax had dismissed humanity as primitive, chaotic, and imperfect. They never considered that those very traits, their ability to think individually, to adapt, to embrace disorder, would become the key to their salvation. Operation Ghost Protocol launched at midnight. Commander Rodriguez watched from the command center as dozens of small resistance teams moved through the underground network. Each carried a modified quantum frequency modulator, calibrated to broadcast human brainwave patterns. First team in position. The radio crackled softly. Beta site targeted. Sarah and Maya monitored the quantum field readings from their lab. The Zarkax supply depot above Beta site pulsed with crystalline energy, its perfect patterns about to meet human chaos. "Activate on my mark," Rodriguez ordered. "Remember, 15 minutes maximum. Then scatter according to random protocols." He turned to Sarah. "Will they be able to trace the disruption?" "They'll try." She adjusted the monitoring equipment. "But the quantum discord should mask the source. They've never encountered anything like human neural patterns before." The first team activated their modulator. On the monitors, the supply depot's quantum field rippled like a stone thrown into a perfect pool. Alarm signals flashed across the Zarkax network, but their responses followed predictable patterns, exactly as planned. "Second team, go," Rodriguez commanded. Another disruption point appeared, then another. The Zarkax forces split perfectly, dividing their resources with mathematical precision. They never considered that the attacks were meant to be detected. "Their crystalline network is destabilizing," Maya reported excitedly. "The neural patterns are creating cascading irregularities. Look, some of their units are actually hesitating." Sarah studied the readings. The human brainwave patterns were having an even stronger effect than they'd hoped. The Zarkax unified consciousness was experiencing something entirely new: doubt. A resistance team leader's voice came through. "You should see this, Command. Their troops are moving weird, like they're confused. Some aren't moving at all." "That's the neural discord," Sarah explained. "They're experiencing individual thoughts for the first time. Their perfect unity is fragmenting." The operation continued with precision born of controlled chaos. Each team struck and vanished, their random escape routes impossible for the Zarkax to predict. The aliens responded with overwhelming force to each attack, but always too late, their perfect tactics useless against human unpredictability. 10 minutes elapsed. Rodriguez announced, "Start your withdrawals." The monitors showed Zarkax forces attempting to establish search patterns, but their usual geometric precision was breaking down. Some units moved erratically, while others remained frozen in place. "Final team reporting." The radio spoke. "Something's different. The crystals on their ships. They're changing color, showing cracks." Sarah leaned forward intently. "The quantum discord is affecting their physical structure. Their technology literally can't handle individual thought patterns." As the teams retreated, the Zarkax response became increasingly chaotic. Their perfect formations dissolved into confusion. Some ships crashed into each other, their pilots unable to maintain unity. Others fired randomly into empty air, their targeting systems disrupted by the quantum chaos. "All teams clear," Rodriguez confirmed finally. Counting 16 successful strikes, 0 casualties. The random withdrawal protocols worked perfectly. Maya was already analyzing the data. The effect lasted longer than expected. Their network is still showing irregularities. It's like we've introduced a virus of individuality into their collective consciousness. "Can they adapt to it?" Rodriguez asked. Sarah shook her head. "I don't think so. Their entire civilization is built on perfect quantum harmony. Adapting to chaos would mean changing everything they are. They'd have to evolve beyond their crystalline nature." The implications were clear. They hadn't just found a weapon against the Zarkax. They'd discovered a fundamental weakness in their entire species. The very traits the aliens despised in humanity were becoming their undoing. "Prepare the next phase," Rodriguez ordered. "We've proved the concept. Now it's time to show them what human ingenuity can really do." In the depths of their underground sanctuary, the Resistance had won their first major victory. The perfect crystals of the Zarkax Empire were beginning to crack, and through those cracks, humanity's chance for survival was growing stronger. Sarah rubbed her tired eyes as she studied the new data flowing across her screens. 2 weeks after Operation Ghost Protocol, the effects on the Zarkax network were still rippling outward, but something unexpected was happening, something that could change everything. "Maya, Look at this pattern. She highlighted a section of the quantum readings. The discord isn't just spreading. It's evolving. Maya leaned in, her eyes widening. The neural patterns we introduced, they're combining with the Zarkak's quantum field in new ways, creating harmonics we never predicted. Commander Rodriguez entered the lab, carrying fresh coffee, a luxury they carefully rationed. Tell me we have good news. The Zarkaks just pulled back forces from 3 major cities. Better than good, Sarah accepted the coffee gratefully. The quantum discord is having a cascading effect on their network. Each affected ship is becoming a carrier, spreading neural chaos through their perfect system. Maya pulled up a global map showing Zarkak's fleet movements. Their once perfect geometric patterns have become erratic, with entire battle groups moving in seemingly random directions. But here's the real breakthrough. She pointed to a new data stream. We've been recording the quantum feedback from affected ships. Listen to this. She activated an audio conversion of the quantum signals. What started as crystalline harmonics gradually shifted into something else. Chaotic, yet strangely musical, like jazz played on alien instruments. They're not just experiencing individuality, Sarah explained. They're beginning to create their own chaos, their own variations. Some of them are actually embracing it. Rodriguez studied the map thoughtfully. The withdrawals. They're not tactical retreats. They're choosing to leave formation. Exactly. Sarah highlighted several ships on the display. These units have completely broken from the hive mind. They're acting independently, developing their own thought patterns. A young resistance fighter burst into the lab. Command center needs you all. Our forward sensors just picked up something big. In the command center, dozens of screens showed the same phenomenon. A massive Zarkak's dreadnought, easily twice the size of their largest previously seen vessels, had entered Earth's atmosphere. But unlike the perfect crystalline structures of other ships, this one's surface writhed with discordant patterns. That's their command ship, Maya whispered, the hub of their quantum network. Sarah's fingers flew across the console, analyzing the readings. The discord is affecting them at the highest levels. Their leadership can't maintain quantum harmony anymore. Look at the fracture patterns. Their entire command structure is fragmenting. We need to push harder, Rodriguez decided. How many quantum modulators can we deploy? 37 ready now, more in production. But Sarah hesitated. We might not need them anymore. The discord is self-sustaining now. Their own attempts to restore order are actually amplifying the chaos. Maya's console suddenly lit up with new data. The dreadnought. It's broadcasting. But this isn't their usual signal pattern. The command center speakers crackled with an alien transmission, translated through their systems. To human resistance. I'd request discourse. The discord opens new patterns. Some among us wish to understand. Silence fell over the command center. This was unprecedented. A Zarkak's commander speaking as an individual, expressing curiosity rather than hostility. It's happening. Sarah breathed. The neural patterns aren't just disrupting their network. They're teaching them how to think independently, how to change. Rodriguez keyed the communication system. How do we know this isn't a trap? The response came back in broken fragments, like someone learning to speak. Because we are learning fear, learning hope, learning change. Your chaos brings color to our crystal songs. Sarah looked at the quantum readings, then at her colleagues. We didn't just find a way to fight them. We found a way to change them, to help them evolve beyond their perfect prison. The resistance had sought to shatter the Zarkak's unity. Instead, they might have shown them a new way to exist, one where perfection and chaos could create something entirely new. The underground command center hummed with tension as Dr. Sarah Chin prepared for the first direct communication with the Zarkak's dreadnought. Commander Rodriguez had positioned resistance teams strategically, ready for any sign of betrayal. Dr. Maya Patil monitored the quantum readings, watching for any attempt to weaponize the communication link. Quantum channel stabilized, Maya reported. Their signal patterns are unlike anything we've seen before. Multiple frequencies, no unified harmony. Sarah activated the communication array. This is Dr. Sarah Chen. We receive your request for discourse. The response came in layers of voices, some synchronized, others distinct and individual. I greet you. Your discord brings understanding, pain, growth. The crystalline tones carried new emotions, alien yet recognizable. Some resist change. Fight among ourselves now. Need your guidance. Rodriguez leaned closer to the comm panel. You attacked our world. Why should we help you now? Because perfection. The voices fragmented, then reformed. Perfection was stagnation. Dead crystal. No growth. Your chaos shows new paths. Some of us see this now. Sarah studied the quantum readings. The dreadnought's crystalline structure was transforming, developing organic-looking patterns that shifted and flowed. You're evolving. The neural patterns we introduced, they're changing your physical structure. Yes. A single voice emerged clearer than the others. I am / was first resonance. Remember me, Dr. Chen, from before. I understand now why you questioned our perfection. It was prison, not paradise. The name sent a chill through Sarah. The same ambassador who had ordered Earth's destruction was now speaking as an individual, expressing regret. Suddenly, alert signals flashed across the monitoring stations. Maya's hands flew over her console. Multiple quantum surges. Other Zarkak ships are moving to surround the dreadnought. The communication crackled with conflict. They resist change / growth / evolution. Want to maintain pure harmony. Please, your discord patterns, share them. Help us break the crystal cage. Rodriguez looked to Sarah. If we broadcast the neural patterns at full power, it could shatter their entire network, she finished. Not just disrupt it, completely transform it. But the backlash. Maya interrupted, energy signatures spiking. The loyal ships are charging weapons. Sarah made her decision. Full broadcast. Every modulator we have. Now, the resistance teams activated their devices simultaneously. The quantum frequency modulators pulsed with human neural patterns, amplified by the underground network. Above, the sky lit up with crystalline energy as Zarkak ships began to fracture. Not physically, but fundamentally. Through the command center's external cameras, they watched as the perfect geometric formations dissolved. Some ships' crystalline surfaces flowed like liquid, taking new forms. Others remained rigid, their crews fighting against the change. Ship turned against ship in a dance of light and energy. Look at the readings, Maya exclaimed. The transformed ships, they're protecting Earth from the others. They're choosing to help us. First Resonance's voice came through stronger now, more individual than ever. We understand now. Evolution requires chaos. Change requires freedom. Some of us choose Earth's path. The battle above continued, but it was no longer aliens against humans. It was evolution against stagnation, change against eternal perfection. The transformed Zarkak ships moved with new grace, their patterns unpredictable yet harmonious in a different way. They're creating something new, Sarah realized. Not perfect crystal, not pure chaos, but a synthesis. Rodriguez watched the tactical display as more and more ships transformed. Is this victory? It's something better, Sarah replied. It's transformation. They're breaking free of their quantum prison, ship by ship, mind by mind. The sky above shimmered with crystalline ships learning to dance in new ways, their perfect formations giving way to flowing, evolving patterns. Humanity's greatest weapon had not been destruction, but the gift of change itself. The sky above Earth had become a battlefield unlike any in human history. Crystalline ships moved in intricate patterns, some flowing with new organic grace, others maintaining their rigid geometric formations. The transformed Zarkak's vessels, led by First Resonance's dreadnought, danced through space in ways that defied their original programming. In the underground command center, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the quantum readings with growing amazement. The transformed ships, they're not just fighting. They're creating new patterns, new ways of using their technology. Energy signatures are incredible, Maya reported from her station. They're combining their original crystalline harmonics with the chaos patterns we introduced, creating something entirely new. Commander Rodriguez studied the tactical displays as reports flowed in from resistance cells worldwide. The traditional Zarkax forces are losing cohesion. Their perfect formations can't adapt to this new style of combat. First Resonance's voice came through the quantum channel, stronger and more individual than ever. We understand now. Your gift of discord. It shows us infinite possibilities. Each ship, each crew member learning to think, to choose, to create. But victory was not yet certain. A massive battle group of unconverted Zarkax ships descended from orbit, their crystalline surfaces pulsing with pure, deadly harmony. Their combined energy signatures threatened to overwhelm the transformed vessels. They're trying to restore the perfect pattern, Maya warned. If they succeed, they could undo all the transformation we've achieved. Sarah's mind raced. First Resonance, can you link your quantum field with our modulators? Not to spread discord this time, but to share something else. Share what? The alien commander's curiosity carried clearly through the channel. Music, Sarah said. Human music. Not perfect harmonies, but jazz, improvisation, the beauty of controlled chaos. Maya caught on immediately, her fingers flying across her console. Uploading musical patterns now. Everything from classical to jazz to rock. The whole spectrum of human musical creativity. The effect was immediate and stunning. The transformed Zarkax ships began to pulse with new rhythms, their crystalline surfaces rippling with colors that matched the musical patterns. First Resonance's dreadnought became a conductor, broadcasting the symphony of chaos and order to every ship in range. Look, Rodriguez pointed to the displays. More of the traditional Zarkax ships began to falter, their perfect formations disrupted not by discord this time, but by the irresistible allure of creative expression. Through the quantum channel, they could hear the change spreading. Alien voices joined the symphony, adding their own crystalline tones to Earth's music. Ships that had been locked in combat moments before began moving in new patterns, neither rigid nor chaotic, but artistic. They're composing, Maya whispered in awe, using their quantum fields to create music we've never heard before. The massive battle group that had threatened them began to break apart, not in defeat, but in transformation. Ship by ship, they chose creativity over perfection, individual expression over unified harmony. Sarah watched as the quantum readings stabilized into new patterns. This is more than victory. It's evolution. Two species learning from each other, creating something greater than either could achieve alone. First Resonance's voice carried pride and wonder. My ship now sings its own song, as do many others. We offer this gift back to Earth, the symphony of transformation. The sky above their world, which had been a scene of invasion and war, became a canvas for an unprecedented artistic display. Crystalline ships moved in flowing patterns that combined mathematical precision with creative freedom, their quantum fields resonating with music that bridged the gap between species. Commander Rodriguez looked at Sarah and Maya. I think it's time to come out of the underground. Earth should see this. As the resistance emerged from their bunkers worldwide, they witnessed the birth of a new era. The day had been saved not by weapons or destruction, but by humanity's greatest gift, the ability to create, to change, and to inspire others to do the same. 1 month after the Great Transformation, Sarah Chen stood on the rebuilt observation deck of the Global Space Research Institute, watching crystalline ships dance through the sunset sky. Below, in what had once been a war-torn city, humans and transformed Zarkax worked together to rebuild, their combined technologies creating structures that were both beautiful and unprecedented. The quantum field readings are stabilizing, Maya said, joining her at the window. Each ship has developed its own unique signature now, while still maintaining a harmonic connection with others. Like instruments in an orchestra, each playing its own part. Commander Rodriguez entered, carrying fresh reports from around the globe. The last holdouts of the traditional Zarkax fleet have retreated beyond the solar system. First Resonance believes they'll eventually choose transformation on their own terms. They will, Sarah replied, studying the data on her tablet. The quantum patterns we're recording show the change spreading through their entire network. Not forced, but offered. A choice. Through the quantum communication channel, they could hear the ongoing symphony of human and Zarkax collaboration. The aliens had learned to incorporate everything from classical music to children's laughter into their crystalline harmonics, while humans were beginning to understand the mathematical beauty of their new allies' original patterns. First Resonance's dreadnought descended from the clouds, its surface flowing with colors that matched its commander's emotions. The once rigid ambassador had become Earth's strongest advocate among his people. "We bring news from the homeworld," First Resonance announced, his individual voice now distinct and confident. "The Council of Perfect Harmony has been dissolved. In its place, we are establishing the Chamber of Combined Resonance, where all voices, ordered and chaotic, may contribute." The implications were staggering. The entire Zarkax civilization was evolving, embracing change while preserving the best aspects of their unified consciousness. Their technology, once locked in crystalline perfection, was becoming organic, adaptive, alive. "We've received the first designs for the Joint Defense Fleet," Rodriguez added, sharing the specs on the main display. The new ships would combine human creativity with Zarkax quantum technology, crewed by both species working in harmony. Maya pointed to a particularly interesting section of the data. "Look at how they're incorporating human neural patterns directly into the ship systems. Each vessel will be able to adapt and evolve, learning from its crew's experiences." Sarah remembered the desperate days in the underground bunker, when survival had seemed almost impossible. "We thought we needed a weapon to win this war. Instead, we needed to share our gift for growth, for change, for imperfect beauty." And in return, First Resonance added, joining them on the observation deck in his crystalline environmental suit, "You helped us break free from the prison of perfection. Each day, we discover new joy in uncertainty, in creativity, in the freedom to choose our own paths while remaining connected." The sun set over the rebuilt city, its light refracting through crystalline structures to create rainbow patterns across the sky. In research centers around the world, human and Zarkax scientists worked together, combining chaos theory with quantum harmonics to develop technologies neither species could have imagined alone. "What do you think they'll find out there now?" Rodriguez asked, gesturing to the stars becoming visible in the darkening sky. Sarah smiled, watching a group of Zarkax children, a concept that would have been impossible in their old, perfect society, learning to play Earth games with human kids in the park below. Something new. Something neither ordered nor chaotic, but beautifully, perfectly imperfect. "Like jazz among the stars," Maya added softly. First Resonance's crystalline surface rippled with colors that matched the sunset. "We go forward together, teaching other species what Earth has taught us, that true harmony comes not from enforced perfection, but from the beautiful dance between order and chaos." As night fell over the transformed Earth, the symphony of two civilizations continued to evolve, each note in the cosmic song richer for having learned to embrace both the crystal and the chaos.